The Detroit Lions are in desperate need of defensive players. We're going to get Jalen Reeves-Maybin back, hopefully. Alex Anzalone should be back by the NFL playoffs. He should be. Khalif Raymond, he should be back, hopefully by that same time. But the Detroit Lions are really hurting on defense right now. And with that being the case, we have 20 people on IR, 14 are from the defense, and 6 of those guys are starters. With that being the case, the Detroit Lions might have a few options. One of them was waived yesterday with Shaq Barrett. He is probably going to clear waivers very soon. And then there's another guy that with one win from either the Chargers, the Broncos, or another team is going to become available most likely. So say the Miami Dolphins. And that's the guy you see on the thumbnail of this live stream, Calais Campbell. Could the Detroit Lions get their hands on Calais Campbell? Could Calais Campbell finagle his way to the team of his choice? Now, we know what's happening with Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett must play for, if he's claimed off waivers, he will have to retire, which is the dumbest type of sequence of events, but that's the way the NFL has it. But if he is a free agent, then he can sign with any team. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to wait to the last possible second to waive Calais when there's no other teams that could claim him but a playoff team. With that being the case, the Detroit Lions currently sit 3 from the bottom in the waiver wire. So they would be number 12 in the waiver wire. So I'm wondering if Calais Campbell, if indeed is waived, if the Dolphins live up to what they said they were going to do, which I think they mentioned early, because I believe that they're trying to pique people's interest, teams' interest. Why say this with 3 weeks left in the regular season? When you have a shot, it's not a legit shot, it's an outside shot that you make the playoffs. But why mention this so early? Because you want to give teams the opportunity to really kind of think this thing through. Now, let's say that Calais Campbell, they wait until the last possible minute. Let's say it's week 18, it's Tuesday, the wild card week starts that Wednesday. I don't even know. What do you call week 19 in the NFL? Do you call it week 19 or is it like wild card week or something like that? But let's say they wait to the last possible minute, they waive him, and then he can go to one of 14 teams. He said that they want to give him a chance at a playoff contender or a Super Bowl contender. We got playoff contenders. We got Super Bowl contenders. Statistically, and here's why I'm hoping that Calais Campbell can actually. Why are we 3 away from the bottom? Are the Vikings ahead of us? Yep, it's the Chiefs, Vikings, and us. I don't know why in the standings. That's the way it is. The Vikings are ahead of us, and then after that, after us, it's the Bills and such. So he would have to clear all them guys. But I'm wondering if he can control this a little bit. Dude has been in the league. So here's what I'm thinking. Here's how I think Calais Campbell winds up on the Detroit Lions. You've been in the league for 17 seasons. 17 seasons, right? So let's pull this up because I want to look at this. Let's pull up how I could see this going, because you've been in the league for 17 seasons and you're going to be waived because a team that, said that they were going to try to give you a chance at a Super Bowl title, because we've already established that there is a difference in playoff contention and Super Bowl contention. The Lions, even with all their injuries, are in Super Bowl contention. You have 14 playoff teams. So, right now, the Rams, the Seahawks, those teams are playoff contending teams, but an actual legit Super Bowl. If I'm hoping that the NFL does this, let's take a look real quick at what it would look like. Now, this is right now up for debate is everybody is eliminated except the Cincinnati Bengals, right? So the Bengals are eliminated, or not eliminated. The Cowboys are. The Colts, Dolphins are still alive. So you get to the Falcons. All right, is it reasonable to think the Falcons are Super Bowl contenders? I would say no. Same thing with the Buccaneers. Same thing with the Texans. Seahawks are not in. They're not out. Broncos, Super Bowl contending. Chargers, not really. You could say the Rams could be. Steelers, I don't know, man. They're on a 3-game losing streak, I believe. They're having it tough right now. Washington Commanders. So now you get to Super Bowl contending teams. I'm going to say, as much as it pains me, Baltimore, They've always been Super Bowl contending. They just can't seem to get there. The Packers, I could throw them in there. So now you get to the Bills, Eagles, right? If I'm Calais Campbell and I'm the rest of these playoff Super Bowl contending teams, how many Super Bowl contending teams would you say out of this bunch? I'm going to say Vikings, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Bills, and I'll say Ravens. I don't think the Packers, they might be on the outside looking in. So that could be 6 teams. If you let Calais Campbell, because he's been in the league for 17 seasons, that you let him go to the team of his choice. You let him go. So if you call him and his agent says, hey, he wanted to go to the Lions, and they just say, kind of you ever seen the movies, man, where they just let somebody pass, they just open the floodgates and they let them pass, they move out their way? I think that's probably the only way that the Detroit Lions land Calais Campbell, is if those playoff contending teams, because if you look at the stats, right, statistically, more often than not, the number 1 and number 2 seeds are in the Super Bowl. It's the way. Right now, it's the Lions and Eagles. Those statistically, that's how important this game is on week 17 between, for the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. It is imperative, because that, with a perfect situation, the Lions lock up home field advantage. And I can almost guarantee you, if that happens, they're in the Super Bowl. Why? Because it's one less game. That's another thing, too, that just popped in my mind. Maybe, even if the Dolphins are eliminated in week 17, Calais Campbell still waits. He like, you know what, Mike? Let's wait. Talk to the GM. Let's wait. Let me see where these teams is lining up. Because by the time week 17 is over, the Detroit Lions could have home field advantage through the NFC. That means they have a free game to the Super Bowl. That's what I call it. A free game. Instead of 3, they got to play 2. They're at home the entire time. 1 game, and then you're in the NFC title game. And I promise you, Ford Field will be the loudest you have ever heard it if they make the NFC title game. That's how I think Calais Campbell winds up in Detroit. I am hoping that we get this guy, because we need all the help we can get. And one problem that we have is getting to the quarterback. So hopefully they let this guy, he's been in the league almost 20 years. I hope that they let him pick where he wants to go. That would be a service, saying, basically thank you for 17 years. Go get, because Calais Campbell does not have a Super Bowl ring. He's been on a lot of teams, but he does not have a Super Bowl ring. So I'm hoping that these teams work with him and let him choose where he wants to go.